Hello and welcome to FirstCry Intelli Education's parent education initiative, where we collaborate with the leading experts of the industry to discuss various aspects that concern raising a 21st century ready child. Joining us is an expert who is a passionate, exuberant individual and has dedicated 46 years of her life to education. Her sole purpose is to create an environment in the society where children will thrive to bring out the best of themselves. She has played various roles in the lives of the children around her: a teacher, a friend, a mentor, a principal, and now she's the director of content and training at Enark Education. Please welcome Ms. Purnima Shetye. Hello, ma'am.
Hi, it's wonderful to be here with all the moms and yourself.
So when we talk about raising a 21st century ready child, the most concerned topic of a parent is building confidence in their children. So given your experience, would you like to share your thoughts?
What I would like to ask moms is what, according to y'all, is confidence?
I think confidence is like the children being more comfortable being themselves.
If one has the ability to make a decision quickly and not having a fickle mind, shows that they are confident about their choice or they know how to make a decision for themselves.
The whole idea of a child being confident is that the child moves forward in their life with surety. And once they are sure about what they are doing, whether it is the choice that they make, or whether what they are learning is the right kind of learning, or whether it is a simple thing that I like this game, only then will they be able to conduct themselves in any situation. They will not waver. And that is the reason why we want our children to be confident.
Are children born with confidence, or that's something that is learned or inculcated?
Good question. Children are born with possibilities, endless possibilities. Confidence is one of them. If children don't get the environment or the treatment that is required to build that confidence, then it is difficult. Left on their own, they'll find their way. They will be confident about themselves.
What kind of environment at home or in school should be created to make a child confident, especially in their early years?
Early years are the years where children learn almost everything. Okay, the foundation is laid in the early years. So what we do with children in those years, when I say early years, it's 0 to 8 years. Okay, 90% of brain development happens during this time. So if you expect the child to be confident, move around very happily, go around everywhere, be social, and if that environment is there at home with the parents, where the parents are also confident, the child is just going to pick it up. Always remember, children do not do what they hear, they do what they see. So if you want your children to be confident, you need to showcase that confidence. To find somebody's self-worth, one needs to be aware of what one likes, what one dislikes, or what makes one happy. Being the way the child is, whatever that is, will bring in the self-worth. And this is where we say, accept your child the way the child is.
So I'm sure our moms also have a couple of questions to ask our expert. So over to you, moms.
So, since my child is very young, he is 20 months old, as a parent, I want to know what kind of activities I can introduce to my child so that his confidence is built at this very young age.
It is not so much the activities, but how you deal with that activities. Whatever activity you're doing, let the child do independently. Even if they are not able to do it properly, that is fine. They should try, and you be like a guide, a support to them, sitting with them, doing along with them, not doing it for them, but doing it along with them. That is very, very important. Your child is building a tower, but after a little while, it collapses. For a child who's 20 months old, they are crushed when this happens. Now here it is our reaction, or rather I would say how we respond is very important. So here what we do is we say, oh, it all fell down. Let's do it again. And let's start doing. So he doesn't look at the tower falling as a mistake on his part or as a failure in him being able to build that tower, but as a something that happens. And then when he's able to get that tower to the height they want, wow, look at that, you built the tower, see? First time it didn't happen, but now it's okay. And I think any activity you do, when you are there as a support and guide to the child, I think children are going to be okay.
So success and failure or both are part of life. So how do we make sure that my son doesn't lose confidence even he is failing?
Failure is a part and parcel of life. However, let's not use the word failure. Instead of saying failure, let's use the word learning. Because either you're successful or you're learning. There are no two ways of it. If you were to be successful all throughout your life, believe me, you will learn less. It is only when you don't do something properly, when so-called you fail, is when you realize, oh, it cannot be done this way. It needs to be done this way. Or I need to try it in a different way. And why did I fail? When you try and look at that, that is when you realize, this is the mistake I made and I need to rectify that. So we don't call it failure, we call it learning. Because when we attach meaning to those words and we say that, oh, you failed, oh, you've done this, that is when they start believing that, oh, I am not good enough. So we don't show them that they are not good enough. So let's learn and let's try again.
So when we talk about confidence, there is a very thin line between confidence and overconfidence. I want to know, as a parent, how do we keep a check on that? And when we find out that our child has crossed the line, how do we, rectify that?
Basically, children or adults for that matter are attention seekers, want appreciation constantly. But we have learned it to control. The child has not yet learned that. So the child constantly seeks appreciation, constantly seeks attention. Now this is where we step. You give appreciation. How you do? Oh, you are the best. You always do very well. If you are going to do this way constantly, it definitely the child is going to be overconfident. And learn to praise not the result, but the effort. That is important. It doesn't matter what the result is. I loved the way you went about it. I was so happy to see you persevere. Twice you couldn't do it, but you still completed it. So now here what happens, the child understands that what I do matters, not what the result is. And that is where the children automatically learn confidence and overconfidence.
I see my children and I see a lot of anger around the kids of their age. How much of it is okay? And when do you step in and correct that? How do you do it without taking away their confidence?
The kind of society that we stay in the environment, if they encounter a lot of angry people in general, then they feel that that's how it's supposed to be. That's the natural way of doing things. And if I don't like something, I can just scream and shout. So what we need to do is we need to role model that there are different ways of dealing with what you don't like or what you're not happy with. In fact, in that way, they will know how to deal with their life and they will be more confident. This way, when they show anger, they are not confident. In fact, anger comes because you lack confidence.
So I never thought that generation gap is ever going to hit me. I thought I was a pretty modern mom and I would understand her world. But now that I see it, I do want to be a part of her world. But on the other side, I don't really connect to the idea of her world. How do you take care of a generation gap like this?
Yes, generation gaps have been existing forever, right? However, what has happened now is earlier the generation gap was somewhere around, say, 30 years. But now that gap has come down to almost 3 years, 5 to 3 years. One of the things that you mentioned, that you had this generation gap with your parent also. Now what happens, we have only that as a template. So, like you mentioned, you tend to fall back on that when we are dealing with our children. Unless and until we make a conscious effort of changing that template. Now it's very crucial to understand the child. So conversations are very crucial in any relationship to understand why, what, and how they are going to do it. And once you know that, I think it becomes easy for the child to understand why you're doing what you're doing, and for you to understand why the child feels resentment when you stop them from doing something.
That was an insightful session by all of you. Thank you so much, Purnima ma'am, for taking out your time and sharing your expertise and your thoughts on us.
I would like to thank FirstCry and Intelli for holding such a session, because I think today's parent requires a lot of guidance, and with questions like these are very common questions that most parents have. And wonderful session. Thank you so much.